It's been some time since I've posted anything on the channel, but I'm back with a Learn It Yourself tutorial. Today we shall be installing the famous WordPress on the server. Hi, my name is Hiren Mehta and you're watching Tech and Coda. WordPress is one of the best content management systems based on PHP and MySQL used for blogging, websites as well as app development. 34% of the websites on the internet are currently powered by WordPress, so you can only imagine how robust and featureful WordPress is. Since you're watching this video, I assume you already have some idea of what I am talking about. Before we start installing WordPress on your server, you need to make sure you already have a hosting space or a hosting server where you will be installing WordPress and a domain registered and configured, which when referred or called in the browser would load the installed WordPress software. So without further ado, let's install WordPress on your server. Before you install any software, you first need to verify that the server on which you are installing the software meets all its requirements, just to make sure your efforts and time do not get wasted and you do not end up getting stuck with the setup midway. Like any other software, WordPress too has certain requirements, which we can find under the About tab on the website. While most servers would fulfill WordPress's requirement, however, it is better to check it before we begin the installation. The current version of WordPress suggests a server with PHP 7.3 or greater with MySQL database version of 5.6 or greater would be an ideal setup. WordPress also works with MariaDB version 10.1 or higher in case your host does not offer MySQL. WordPress will also work with older version of PHP and MySQL in case your host does not currently offer the updated version of PHP or MySQL. Before you install WordPress on your server, you need to make sure your server PHP and MySQL is in line with the software's requirements. While you can ask your host about the MySQL's version, you can create a PHP info file on your server to know which version of PHP you are currently running. You should note, some hosts disable executing the PHP info command on the servers due to security reasons. So what we are about to do does not work for you, then don't worry. Simply ask your host if the server supports the latest version of PHP or not. To create a PHP info file on your server, you need to log into your control panel, which would have a file manager. For the purpose of this demo, I am installing WordPress on my domain techandcode.com, which is hosted on a server with cPanel as the hosting account management system. To save us some time, I have already logged into my server's cPanel. Your cPanel may look a little different from mine depending upon your account setup. To create a PHP info file, click on the File Manager icon on your cPanel and browse to the public_HTML directory where we shall install WordPress. Here, click on the New File icon and give your file a name. I will call it php.info.php. Once the file is created, right-click on it to edit the file and add the PHP info code in the file. To install WordPress, it is not necessary for you to know PHP. However, some basic knowledge will certainly help you in troubleshooting an issue in case you did get stuck during the setup. To enter the PHP code, add the code in the file as I have done, save the file and close it. I am installing WordPress in my domain techandcode.com and I have created a PHP info file in the public_HTML directory of the domain. So to access the file, the URL which I shall be using will be techandcode.com/phpinfo.php. If you see a page similar to mine, it means PHP info has worked for your domain, and what you are seeing is a complete configuration setup of your server's PHP. However, the main thing we want to check is the version of PHP currently available for your domain. In this case, the current version available for Tech and Coda is PHP 7.3.8, which meets WordPress's requirements of PHP 7.3 or greater. Now that we have confirmed that the server meets the software requirements, let's go ahead and download the WordPress software package. You can download the package by clicking on the Get WordPress button on their website. At the time of recording this video, WordPress 5.2.2 is the latest release available, so that is what we would be installing. To save us some time, I have already downloaded the package on my computer. You can move ahead with this tutorials when you have downloaded the same on your computer. It is now time to upload and extract the software package on the server. To do so, go back to the cPanel file manager and click on the upload button and select the software file which you have stored on your computer. Wait till you upload the file. I've completed uploading the file. Go back to the domains directory to extract the software package, which you can do so by right-clicking on the file and clicking on the extract option. The server will extract all files in the newly created WordPress directory. However, I am looking to install WordPress in the root directory of my domain. So when I call it from the web browser as techencoder.com, then WordPress should load. Currently, we are seeing a 404 error as the WordPress files are still in the WordPress directory. So we now need to move all the files from the WordPress directory to the root directory of the domain. If you're looking to install your WordPress in a subdirectory, then you can skip the next step. If you do not see the WordPress directory, just refresh your file manager. Browse to the WordPress directory and click on Select All. Select all the files from the directory, then right-click to view the options and click on Move. Specify the path where the files should be moved to. In this case, remove WordPress from the directory file path and click on Move Files. Click on Up Level to browse to the domain root directory. Here you can select the WordPress folder and delete it as the folder is now empty. Now that we have uploaded the files, the next step is to set up the database which we shall be using for the WordPress installation. To create a new MySQL database, click on MySQL Database Wizard option on your cPanel. Provide a database name in this form field. It can be anything that you want. Once done, click on the Next Step button. On this page, create your database user who can access this database. You can use the password generator to generate a strong password for your user, or you can input your own password. I prefer to use the password generator. Whatever password you use, make sure you save it on a text file as you will need it while setting up our WordPress. Once done, click on the Create User button to proceed to the next step. On this page, make sure you choose the All Privileges option so that the created user can carry out all the possible operations on the created database. Click on the next step to complete the database creation process. Once this is done, go to the domain on which you wish to install WordPress. In my case, it's techencoder.com. Once loaded in the browser, you will be presented with a page where you can select the language for your WordPress installation. In my case, it's going to be English, which is already selected by default. So I will proceed with the next step of installation. Before you move to the next step, make sure you have the MySQL database name, username and the password handy as we will need it to set up our WordPress in the next step. Once this is done, enter the MySQL database name, username and password in the presented form. You can leave the host as localhost unless your hosting server has provided you with anything else. Leave the table prefix as mentioned. Click on Submit and if all the details are entered correctly, you will see a page similar to mine, which will now allow you to run the software installer. Click on the Run the Installation button. Proceed. On the loaded page, specify the title for your website. In my case, it's going to be Tech Encoder. Next, for the username, I would recommend you do not use admin as the username. Why not? Well, I will cover that in another video. But for security reasons, I strongly recommend that you do not use the username as admin. For password, you can use the generated password or specify your own. Specify your email address in this field. Click on the Install WordPress button. Voila! Congratulations, you have successfully installed WordPress on your server. Great job! Click on the Login button to access the WordPress backend. Specify the user ID and the password which you use while setting up WordPress to log into the backend. Once logged in, you will now see the backend of the software. It is from here that you can manage the WordPress configuration along with the look and feel of your website. This is the website front end, which is what all your users see when they access your website. Just to repeat, this is how you can access your WordPress backend, your domain.com/wp-admin, which will load the login form where you need to specify your WordPress login credentials. Well, that's about it. I hope you liked the video and learned something new today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for future updates if you haven't done that already. If you have any queries, feel free to drop me a line on my Twitter handler, which is TechEncoder. Well, until next time, happy WordPressing.